So here's something for the folks in the chat to think about, and also for Mark and Tim. I wrote about it earlier on Monday at Trojans Wire. I think that USC should use a no huddle offense against LSU. Now, before everyone gets into a furor, like this isn't USC and we need to run the ball and we need to pound the rock and everything, it's not a fast tempo scramble no huddle. All right. It's not run to the line and snap the ball and just get into a 1990 Loyola Marymount track meet. No, it's not that kind of no huddle. It's just no traditional huddles, no campfires where you have the quarterback kneeling and you have the 10 other guys in the half circle and here's our play and we clap and then we walk to the line. There should be no traditional huddles. It should be that play's over and then everyone just goes to the line of scrimmage and Miller Moss gets to the line of scrimmage under center. And I say this because with the helmet communication element, with Lincoln Riley, it is important in my mind for Lincoln Riley and any other offense first head coach, any coach who calls plays, any guy who really invests in the success of his offense as kind of the centerpiece of his program. We need to get to the line with 25 seconds on the play clock, and we need to use those precious 10 seconds with my quarterback evaluating the defense and looking at what's there. Make sure those 10 seconds get maximized. Now, whether the ball gets snapped at 15 seconds or whether we then allow the play clock to go down, that might depend on the game situation, whether USC needs to bleed clock. But certainly in the first half, you're not worried about running too much clock. You want to get Miller Moss in the best position to execute the play, to make the right defensive read, to have everything in order. So instead of Moss being in a huddle, he should just be walking to the line just looking at the defense from 25 on the play clock down to 16. And then the communication gets cut at 15 if the ball hasn't been snapped yet. I think it's important for USC to maximize those 10 seconds before every play, and that will put Miller Moss in position to succeed. Now, in addition to the helmet communication angle, there are other natural things that could play to USC's advantage if you don't huddle traditionally. One is you're operating in such a way that the defense is having to think more quickly on its feet. You might get LSU on its heels a little bit. And also with just getting to the line and surveying the scene, you're getting Miller Moss in less of a thinking mode and more of a observation mode. Like there's less dead time for Miller Moss to think about the previous play, to kind of absorb the anxiety, the tension of the moment. It's just read the defense. And Lincoln Riley can get into that kind of rhythm in those 10 seconds from 25 to 15 on the play clock. So that is kind of the framework in which I say USC should not be huddling. I'm not saying go a million miles an hour. I'm just saying Miller Moss should be lining up under center right after the previous play so that he's studying the defense all the time. And his eyes are forward and they have a play ready to go and Miller can make the read, he can make the audible. That's the structure in which I say USC should not be huddling against LSU. Gentlemen?
I'm just, Matt, that sounds like a great idea. I can't wait to see how Lincoln attacks. I think this might be one of the more imaginative. I think we're going to go back to some power run. I really do. I would not be shocked to see USC really come out, really run heavy. I don't know why. It's totally reversal of what I said before, where I wanted to just throw it and jump out to a big lead. But I'm really beginning to think that maybe the way to do this thing is to test, just like they're going to test us. See if these upgraded, gigantic interior offensive linemen we have, let's see what they can do. Let's see what they can do and get those athletic guys on the outside pulling, our guards and our tackles pulling and seeing what we can do on the ground, because we really do have some great backs. And so, however they attack, again, I think Matt said it best. Whatever we do see, it's going to be something special. We have something special. And Lincoln Riley, giving him an entire offseason to prepare for our defense, I think is going to be something fun to watch. So that's what I'm picking USC to win. And I am picking it to win because of USC's offensive play calling. That's how I think we win this game.
So when people think no huddle, they think fast paced. So you cleared the air on that one, Matt. And they also think passing. Like, since you're no huddle, you have to pass. Well, obviously you don't have to pass just because you're in the no huddle, but it gives that vibe that, well, we're on the attack, so we're passing. But that's not necessarily the case either. You are just making a case for the approach and putting Miller Moss himself individually in the best possible position to perform well.
Absolutely. And also to perhaps, give the offensive line as well, again, less thinking, more instinctual play. I think you get more of that if you're just lining up and you're looking at the defense, and there's less dead time between plays. You're getting into a mode of, all right, whatever the previous play was, whether it was good or bad, forget about it. On to the next play. Get your blinders on. I think it can also have that effect. Because USC's offensive line, it could be great. I certainly hope it's great. But if it's not, then this kind of approach gets guys out of that overthinking mode, which can be negative, and it just pushes them right to the next play, and that could be a positive because you're not dwelling on any failures. You're just focusing on what's next.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, showstopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.